somebody on Twitter said, hey, I want to be you guys. How did you get your career started? How did you get into this? How can I get into this? So let's say there's somebody that, for some crazy reason, wants to be in the enterprise storage space. You know, they look at Howard and they say, "There's a man that I'd like to aspire to be." No, you know, honestly,
there's a girl on the internet that wants to be Howard.
You know, I could say that they might look at Luca and they might say, "Look at that guy." They'll say, "Look at that guy. I want to be like that guy." How did you get started? And what do you do? I think that's another thing that a lot of people have questions about. Like, what do you people do for a living, really? So,
you made me
what is it?
You made me think about the song about Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike.
Yeah, there you go. So
I want to be like Luca.
So if they want to be like Luca, tell us, what do you do and how did you get into it in 30 seconds?
30 seconds?
Or 30 minutes?
I went there by mistake.
Okay.
Because I started studying as a physician, for surgeon. Okay. I give up after 3 years of study. And I was good and using my own computer, so I started from there. And then after 12 years, I grew up and grew up and grew up until I came to this level.
And what do you do now? What is your daily work when you're not at Tech Field Day?
I work, I'm responsible for data protection and disaster recovery in the data center in Switzerland.
Okay.
As a consultant or as a customer? Or?
Internally for the data center itself, and also to external customer.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Oh no, what does Howard do?
But we can.
Yeah, you want to go around, or you want to just?
Yeah, Chris.
Sure.
You can skip if you don't care.
No, that's fine. So yeah, my name's Chris Wall. I feel like I'm at an AA meeting or something. Hi, Chris.
You don't get the last name, Chris.
We know your pain, Chris.
Unfortunately, it's kind of not a very interesting tale. I always knew I wanted to go in IT since I was a small child, which is sad. And, you know, I just found any computer-based job I could. I fixed PCs, I installed satellite TV, I did anything I could to deal with technology, got a degree, and then just basically was a sysadmin for a very long time to get my chops, and just moved up anytime the opportunity presented itself. And now I am a consultant. I basically do architecture and engineering for enterprise customers.
So I am Enrico Signoretti. I started, I think, in 1988, 1999 with assembler programming. It was my, then C, C++, but really it was not my job. And I moved to sysadmin, and then I ran a company, a small system integrator in Italy, with a good staff, very skilled people. And then I moved to consultancy and advising for medium customers in Italy and vendors. So that's all, very easy.
So in 2004 I started up at VMware and storage. The only reason was the other IT guys already had networking, servers.
So they needed somebody to do storage?
So, and that was the only spot that was open, so, so that was me.
You're really making it sound attractive.
But I started with VMware and rolled into storage along the technique, and I'm doing that for almost 7, 8 years, 8, 9 years already, and stepped up.
My name is Arjan Timmerman. I'm a VMware/storage consultant in the Netherlands. Started back in '99. Came from a CAD job where I was drawing CAD drawings for houses. And rolled into the IT. Started with Microsoft. Rolled into to VMware, and yeah, basically still enjoying that.
old guy in the room. I started in the 1970s.
Still in the 90s?
Were there computers then?
A lot of punch cards.
There were computers then, but you bought them as kits and soldered them together. And I still have scars, but that's another story. At some point, I was working as a consultant, and I thought that writing for magazines would be a way to get business. And I ran into Bill McCrone at a users group meeting and said, what do I have to do to write for PC Magazine? He said, come in on Tuesday. And so I started writing and realized that I'm pretty good at looking at new technology and cutting to the chase and explaining it to people. And so now that's what I do, which means I get to hang out with startups and play with new technology and write about it. And it's a great gig, and I have no idea how to tell somebody else how to get started at it.
That seems to be a recurring theme. People seem to have fallen into this.
I think you kind of did, though. You just asked the question.
You just did it.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to join it? I think that's perfectly valid.
Yeah, well, you know, it was easier then because PC Magazine was 600 pages every 2 weeks, and they were desperate to fill it. Yeah, that market disappeared.
My name is Mark Broeker. I started also in '99 or something. Grown from help desk jobs to sysadmin to working for myself, period of time, doing some freelance work, and yeah, now working as a consultant. That's it.
Oh, this will be good.
I'm John Abeto. My route is a lot smoother than all these guys. I had the good fortune to be born into my family, married well, inherited, and I grew forward. No, seriously, I got laid off. I worked as a rocket scientist. It sounds better than an aerospace engineer. Got laid off and didn't know what to do. And two choices were to either go back. I'm of Nigerian descent. Go back to Nigeria and work for my parents and their businesses, or stay in the States and do something. And I've been programming since 1980, and I decided to just keep on doing that. And over the years, I morphed into what I do now, which is run a managed service provider. And I love to talk about. I'm opinionated about technology, and I love to talk about it. And one day, got a call from Steven, and he says, "Tech Field Day." I asked the most important question: "Is it comped?" He said, "Yes." And that's how you do it for free.
I'm Justin Paul. I work for a bar, and after college, I did help desk for a while, and decided I didn't like doing that, and then started it in pre-sales at a VAR and kind of learned all the technology on the safe side where you couldn't break anything that was critical, and then moved over to the professional services side, and now I set up servers and SANs and all that good stuff.
My name is Rick Schalander. I've kind of been in IT ever since I was a little kid, kind of like Chris. My dad was a Xerox engineer, so I kind of naturally fell into the...
You went into the family business?
Not really.
Copy machines.
Copy machines, yeah. But I got really involved in IT at that age, 10, 11, 12 years old. My college was actually in aviation, so I was actually going to be a pilot. Right around the early 90s, everything kind of in the aviation industry kind of slacked off at that time. I wanted to go back into IT. Worked for a VAR for most of the 90s, and now I've been in the enterprise space for about the last decade or so. And yeah, for anybody who wants to get into it, it's just going to meetings. I used to go to a lot of tech conferences in the 80s, a lot of user conferences. I hate to say it, but I used to be part of SPACE, which was the St. Paul Atari computer enthusiast. I really got
Atari? Oh, no.
Yep. And that's what really kind of developed it for me, is really getting in the room with a lot of people and understanding the technology. People used to bring programs they'd write, and it was really fascinating to be part of that. And that's what really kind of launched it for me.
Can you say, just for me, can you just say, Please fasten your seatbelts, and we'll be landing shortly, something like that.
Please fasten your seatbelts. We'll land shortly.
You've got the voice for it.
Soundbite.
Place your tray tables in the upright and locked position.
So I'm Matt Simmons, and I have been into computers since I got one in 9th grade. A friend of mine gave me a Linux CD, and I spent weeks trying to install it right on my IBM Aptiva 486 DX266 with 4 megs of RAM. And I eventually got it, and I got into playing with computers and ended up in a tech support job, which got me transferred to another tech support job at a small mom and pop ISP. And since I knew Linux, I was ahead of the admins who didn't, so I kind of taught it to them, and they took me under their wing and adopted me, and I ended up being the network administrator there. Got hired by a financial services company because I was the only person on the planet that actually had used Slackware in production. Spent 6 years there after I converted them to an actual, enterprise manageable Linux distro. And I spent a year working for Stephen, and now I work for a university, Northeastern University in Boston. On my day-to-day job, I spend a lot of time writing scripts in things like Shell and PowerShell and other shells, do virtualization, storage, networking. And if you really want to get started in the industry, like Rick said, you have to surround yourself with people who are already in the industry, right? So your best bet is to join a local user group, to join communities online, join things like Server Fault, hang out in the chat rooms, right? Basically, hang around the people who are already what you want to be, and you'll find your own way from there. There's not really a well-codified path into what we do, as you can see from everyone here. So that's my advice.
I'm Lauren Malhoit. Like everyone, I've just always been interested in computers. In college, I figured out that I didn't want anything to do with coding. And after college, when I got my first help desk job, I realized I wanted nothing to do with help desk. So, eventually became a sysadmin, and now I work for a VAR, and I'm a post-sales engineer. So I'm very hands-on, mostly VMware, but also some Cisco UCS and some storage as well. I guess, yeah, for me, like these guys said, surround yourselves with people in technology. I'm a big proponent of kind of faking it till you make it. If you hear the things, everything enough, you're gonna eventually understand what it is. I listen to podcasts pretty much anytime I have free time. I think that's a great way to learn things. But I guess I have a question for you guys too. Tech marketing is really interesting to me, and we all kind of partake in that. I mean, that's why we're here, right? We're bloggers, we're podcasters, we're what have you. But technical marketing, what Frank Denneman does, and Duncan Epping, and like the actual technical people, what is that job, and how do you get into that?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. I think that kind of technical marketing job, for a lot of us, is you're technical and you get to meet people at a company and you get grabbed up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's really instructive how many of us have said there was a users group meeting involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to go deal with the people who are doing what you want to do.
Right.
So, just to sum up, then, nobody here went to college to be what you are today.
There are
nobody here.
To
Yes,
be what
exactly.
we are to be.
Nobody here said, if it wasn't for that certification, I would never have been able to do this. Everybody here said, get your hands dirty. Do it because you like doing it. Surround yourself by people who also like doing it.
Meet the
learn
people who are already doing
by
it.
doing, learn by asking.
I would also like to add that,
Read a lot.
yeah, but it's intimidating too. I mean, at least it was for me to just go to a user group and be,
Hi,
the
I'm here.
newbie person, that doesn't really know what they're talking about. And you know, in IT, we do kind of have a, I don't know, a reputation for being maybe arrogant or making people feel stupid because they don't know. And I don't think it's really like that.
That's a
anymore.
stupid thing to say.
Right. Why would you use that? Why are you using Apple? That's stupid. Yeah.
I don't see that as arrogance. I see it more as being socially inept. I mean.
Well, and that's probably true.
So here's a
That's
bit of
probably
advice.
90%.
Here's a bit of advice. I run the Chicago VMware Users Group. I typically advise people that have not been a user group, go to one and lurk. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be on stage.
Be a lurker and be in the background, sit in the audience, just absorb. Just see what it's all about. If you like it, come back and then talk to one or two people. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, don't go back. Find something else that you do like. Find another users group. Maybe you want to go into storage, you go to X user group, and they are a bunch of jerks. And you're like, well, that sucks. I don't want to go to that one anymore. Hopefully that doesn't happen if you come into mine. And then when you come back, introduce yourself to the people that run the group. Start networking with those people, and it's just going to cascade from there. Because there's no shortage of desire to find people who want to do this stuff. Mm-hmm. There is a shortage of finding good talent out there. So if you can present that you have passion, energy, and drive to do these kind of things, you will skyrocket right into what you're trying to do.
Also, I think there's another side of the coin that nobody has really spent any time talking about yet. That tells people how to be what we are, right, and what we do, except that what we do is not just what we do, we're also here. And how do we get here? How does somebody watching this video end up at a Tech Field Day session? And I think the answer is to write, right? Write, to talk, to you know, don't be afraid to show your ignorance and to share what you've learned, because my blog is responsible for more professional opportunities than anything I've ever actually done for work.
I like his blog way better than him.
And honestly, you should.
Yeah. But you can't throw stuff at the blog.
If you just look at the list of former Tech Field Day delegates and where they got snatched up to, or at the vExpert program and the number of independent bloggers that Chad snatched up, the rarest thing in our industry is somebody with decent technical chops who can explain it to somebody with no technical chops. You don't have, you know, we are not actually the technical rock stars we appear to be. Right? I have very broad knowledge, but it's only like that deep.
Yeah, trust me, Howard does not know what he's talking about.
I think that plays a key role too in this industry too, because this industry is unlike any other one. I mean, I came from an aviation industry, right? And I see people in the accounting fields and things like that, and it's really very fast moving. Things change all the time. And to have people that write and explain things, like you said, is very key to succeeding in this area.
Well, and on that note, you're doing it in your own time a lot of the time too. So, I mean, I had to take vacation to come here. You know, and you have to be willing to do that, I think. And that goes back to having desire and passion and drive.
I think it's easy to say start a blog. A lot of people will ask, okay, but what do I write about? So definitely I would say, you know, when I started writing a blog, it wasn't for any reason other than just for myself. So really the first thing, if you want to write a blog, have the mental set that if you're the only person that reads it, that's fine. And number two, write about what you like and are interested in. Don't write for someone else or for something else. And that will help you discover
even if you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Even if you're getting paid.
Getting paid.
Yeah, your credibility means a lot. I mean, people can tell if you're faking the funk. I mean, so.
Yeah, it's a discovery
they'll pick
process.
apart your blog real quick if you.
Yeah. As you write, you'll discover what you do like writing about, what you don't like writing about, what kind of frequency works for you, how much free time you have. It's going to take a while to get into the swing of things. And I've only been writing for just short of 3 years. And I think for the first year, really nothing happened with my blog. It was just for me for almost a full year.
Yeah. I started it just to keep a record of what I've done.
Yeah,
and if I get a reference point.
You'll Google search and find your own stuff all the time. But after that, then you can start, you know, figuring out what you want to do with it. And it may not be a year for everybody, but.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best piece of advice, so the best piece of advice to get a career in tech is to surround yourself with people and learn by doing. The best advice for somebody who wants to get to do this, whatever this is that we're doing here, would, just, again, it's to do it, to write, to get involved. And if I had to tell somebody what to do, it would be shut off all the metrics no statistics, no viewership. Don't look at your Twitter followers. Turn off clout. You know, it doesn't matter.
Never
None
use
of that
clout
matters.
ever.
I have never looked at readership or hits on my blog.
Yeah, it's a waste of your time. Just do it. Do what you love. And if you don't love it, then you're not going to be able to do it anyway.
And I see. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have different experience because I'm Italian, so I read the blog.
So that's your excuse?
Yeah.
You're Italian?
No, the excuse is that
one.
my first blog was only in Italian, and then my former colleague Fabio started the Juku.it, that is a blog written in Italian and English. Things changed like day and night, because in Italy people don't comment on your blog. You can get personal emails, or especially from vendors. It's ridiculous because they are not the. In Italy, you have commercial people and not technical people many times. So they are offices, and they are the people that are measured on each quarter, and they are very angry. Everyone very angry every time you write something wrong to them. It's ridiculous because they send you an email. Oh, why are you writing these things and they not comment publicly. Okay. On the other side, when we started the English blog, we found a lot of people, we found people that are in a different mood. So they comment and they can sustain the conversation. This is the different thing, I think. And it's important. For us, it was a game changer because we get a lot of opportunities writing in English. So my little advice is also if you are like mine, your English is not the best English. Writing in English is much better than writing in your original language.
And and to follow on that, I would love it if somebody would, in Germany, in France, in any of the Asian countries, I would love China, Japan. We just don't have a lot of blogger engagement from there. So thanks, we've got the Italians now, we've got a lot of Dutch, we've got, but it would be great if there were more, German bloggers and French bloggers and Spanish bloggers, and I know that there are. Nigerian, yeah.
They're more emailers.
Or something.
They write me every day, man.
The how-to 419 blog doesn't count.
They have too much time spending writing emails.
So thank you guys for all this. This was a lot of fun.